Hey, what's happening, family? It's your man, Mark Black. You know what time it is. Welcome. Welcome to Sucka-Free Saturday. Before we get started, I just want to say that I appreciate you in advance. Thank you for taking the time to interact with a brother today. I'm going to discuss a topic that I think is going to be a good topic. It's not going to be too heated. I've been going ham lately, going hard in the paint, and I want us to look at something. I want us to make an observation, right? So, with that said, we're going to talk about today, the mirror, right? We're going to talk about today what we think things are as opposed to what they actually are, right? We're going to discuss the mirror image of reality. So before we get into it, fam, as per usual, make sure you share the video. Make sure you hit the thumbs, whether it's the like or the hater button. And if you haven't done so, consider today becoming one of my supporters, right? I'm going to be switching over from Patreon to accepting memberships here on YouTube, right? So stay tuned because that information is going to be forthcoming on my community page. But pick a time, pick a package, pick something that works for you, right? Every little bit, of course, helps. Your eyeballs is really all I need. All right. So without further ado, let's go into the greetings. Namaste to my brother John. Darker Visions is in the house. I see you. Brother Morpheus. Salute, brother. I see you. Let's see here. Sister Sandra is in the house. Ebony Roses is in the house. Joan Bronx representing is in the house. Since I'm here is in the house. Jesus Price is in the house. Welcome to the broadcast, fam. If you here, fam, knock on the door and let us know you're here. You ain't got to participate in the chat, but pop your name in there because I want to make sure to show you some love and thank you for taking the time to come and join us on this fine Saturday. Sister Toolbox, my beloved Sister Toolbox is in the house. ADOS 7B1 is in the house. Peace, fam. I see you. So, fam, let's get into it. What inspired me to talk about this topic was some ponderance that I was doing earlier this week where I was looking at some of the language, right? Because language expresses thought. And thoughts, of course, are formed by our acculturation, by observation, by feelings, by information, right? And I've noticed a strange trend when it comes to the disconnect, excuse me, fam, the disconnect between what we say and what we see. Let me explain what I'm talking about. When you listen to black folk, and when I say black folk, I'm talking about our tribe as always. I shouldn't need to say that, but I'm going to, right? I'm talking about our tribe, right? The descendants of the enslaved here in the United States. When you listen to us and to our rhetoric is so high flung at times, right? It's so hopeful, so optimistic that you wonder if we've ever gone through anything negative, right? You take one of us who just lost a job, okay? Now, everyone else in this country, by the way, shout out to Sister Alma. I see you, sis. Welcome to the broadcast. Everyone else in this country who loses a job would be losing their shit. You understand me? If it's a guy, most likely he's afraid to go home to even tell his family that he lost his job. And this doesn't matter the ethnicity. I'm not talking about just the buckra. I'm not talking about Latinx. I'm not talking about any of that shit. I'm talking about all the rest of the people that ain't us. They lose their primary source of employment, their job, their gig. And they're losing their shit. Families bust up. Shit goes hard. The same shit, of course, happens to us, right? families break up, shit goes hard, but you would never be able to tell it if you listen to what we say. Ah, shit, I didn't like that goddamn job anyway. I got a little hustle that I'm trying to pull off. Wa alaikum assalam, Adrian. Welcome to the broadcast, sister. I see you. Don't worry, Sister Sandra. There's a remedy. We're going to talk about some. So hold your anger, because it'll serve you in good stead. There are remedies. If somebody else of another ethnic group goes to make a large purchase, let's say they go to make a large purchase on a vehicle. Shout out to Strong Flower. I appreciate the well wishes, and the same for you. Welcome to the broadcast. And they find that their credit does not allow them to make this large purchase. By the way, shout out to Jackson J. Good evening to you and welcome to the broadcast. These motherfuckers are heartbroken. They're upset. They're pissed off. They're wondering who dinged their credit. They wondering how the shit happened. They planning on going to classes to get this shit fixed. Calling bankruptcy attorneys. The whole 9 yards. Shout out to my beloved sister Kimberly, by the way. Long time no see, sis. All is well, and thank you for asking. Now, of course, the same thing happens to us. But again, if you listen to what we say in those circumstances, you would swear up and down that it was the best damn thing that ever happened to us. Shit, I didn't want to get in debt for that pricey ass car, no way. My rent's pretty cheap compared to what the motherfuckers was trying to charge me for a mortgage. I'm cool. And the only explanation other than this paradoxical ebullience in our rhetoric that I can account for is somehow or another we perceive the world as if we're looking in a mirror. It's the only explanation I can come up with as to why our people, our rhetoric, what we say, the stories we tell, the narratives that we espouse are so far divorced from the reality of our circumstances. I remember when I first decided to become an advocate for our tribe. Of course, inspired by Yvette Carnell and Antonio Moore, right? So shout out to them both. And I remember thinking to myself, this is going to be easy. All I have to do is just tell my people the truth about our circumstances, about our situation. And once they see the actual reality of our circumstances, they'll come right on board. Advocacy will be on deck. We won't have to beg for fighters. They'll come running. I don't know if I was naive, stupid, or both, but I can assure you that the last thing it seems that most of us, of our tribe, wants to hear is the truth of our actual circumstances. Because once you understand the truth of our circumstances, a lot of the behaviors that we espouse, a lot of the ideals we continue to push, a lot of the shit that we continue to support will go by the wayside like that. If our tribe truly understood the truth of what our existence is, how tenuous it is, how We're hanging from a thread with the sword of Damocles hanging over our heads. If our people actually understood that shit, we'd be in the streets tomorrow. And we wouldn't have to ask nobody. We wouldn't be begging anybody to join us. We ourselves have enough cause, just cause, to burn this entire motherfucker down should we so choose. And to our eternal credit, we haven't. By the way, shout out to my beloved Miss Denny. Welcome to the broadcast, sister. I see you. What it do, black man? What it do? Sister Taj is in the house. Welcome to the broadcast, sister. Let us talk about 3 areas in which I see humbly that we seem to be looking into a mirror. By the way, shout out to Engaging Black and shout out to Producer Hack. I see you, fam. Be one to you. As you all well know, I take my advocacy all the way from the tribe down to the individual. So we're going to start with the individual mirror image that we experience, that we live as the descendants of the enslaved in the United States. These mirror images that I'm going to talk about have, just like a mirror, 2 faces. The one staring into the mirror and the one staring back. As individual black folk, we have been living to die. We have been living to die instead of dying to live. Peace, my esteemed brother Morpheus is in the house. Let me repeat that. Mirror image. We have been living to die instead of dying to live. Both have the same outcome, our demise. But one empowers us individually, one empowers us as a community, as a family, one empowers us as a people, and the other takes away. One is a game. You know, it used to amaze me, some of the strangest things I heard in religious theology. For example, Paul said, I believe it was in Corinthians, but I'm not 100% sure. Look it up. But Paul said to live is Christ and to die is gain. Meaning that if I live, I'm walking in the footsteps of Christ, bearing my cross, hanging it all out, performing miracles, changing lives, altering people's entire way of thinking, living, being, the whole 9 yards. But if these motherfuckers kill me, I win. I thought that was one of the most profound fucking things I had ever heard in Christian theology. If I'm alive, I'm giving them hell. And if they kill me, I beat them. But we don't have that. Every day, most of us is just living, waiting to die. Hoping today's not our day to run into the racist doctor at the doctor's office who performs a bad surgery on us, or today's not our day to run into motherfucking Zimmerman or Pantaleo or Shelby. We're not breaking our necks, expending our resources, our time, effort, and energy in order to make a life so cold that when we die, our people are actually inspired by the life we live and choose to follow in our footsteps. So if I'm living, I'm advocating. But if these buckwheat kill me, I win. I'm dying to live, not living to die. This strange mirror image is a parody. It's a caricature of life. It's the appearance of life without the substance. Now, I understand why we still engage in these behaviors, right? Because there's a lot of this mental shit that we dragged kicking and screaming right off the plantation with us. What the fuck is the point in dying to live if all you got to do with your life is to contribute everything you got to massa? You're going to do the barest minimum. A lot of our old hymns and spirituals talked about freedom after we ain't here no more. I get it. I really do. None of what I'm saying today is me punching down, right? Remember, Dr. Black, I can recognize your illness because I have its symptoms. I too have lived to die rather than die to live. I too have seen that my life essentially is worthless unless I have utility to somebody else, unless I'm given to everybody else. Black people in this country are accepted by everybody as long as we're the sacrificial lamb. As long as we willingly walk up to the altar, bare our breasts, lie down and let them pluck our hearts right out of our chests. And we learn that shit right in our own households. We learn that sacrifice, that giving up of something of great value for the hope of something in return. We learn that in our households. Because there's a second mirror image that has to do with how we deal with family, specifically our children. We look in the mirror and we think we're raising our children. But the mirror image is that we're reaping our children. So we look in the mirror thinking that we're dying to live, but we're actually living to die. We're just biding our time, spinning our wheels, dwelling in a nebulous anger that we can never actually focus, whether it's out of fear, whether it's out of ignorance, whether it's out of lack of will, cowardice. But then on top of that, how we do each other as family is absolutely atrocious. We don't raise up families as Black people. We reap them. Let's take a look at what reaping means. Because words have value. Reap is a verb, present participle for those grammar Nazis out there, right? To cut or gather a crop. To receive as a consequence of one's own or other people's actions. We reap each other. Someone once told me that part of the reasons why there's so much hostility between us as tribes people, right? So the reason why there's so much hostility between us is because each of us are looking to the other for the justice that both of us lack. In other words, the hostility, the almost out and out hatred that you see sometimes between us as tribes people come from the fact that we are trying to feed upon each other. We are trying to consume justice from each other when both of us lack it. Don't believe me? Why is it that you think that some three-tooth having cousin fucking shit kicking dirt farming cracker can come wandering up into our neighborhoods and do whatever they want with impunity? Meanwhile, there are brothers and sisters of ours that are in the grave right now for the horrible offense and crime of having stepped on another one of their tribe's members' shoes. We have been taught to feed upon each other. And this attitude you can see all throughout our culture. White folks and other ethnicities don't go to businesses simply because that person is of the same ethnicity and expect anything but just reasonable accommodation, decent prices, good products, so on and so forth. You know, shit that consumers like. Not us. A black person opened up a business and they're expected to run that business into the ground in order to treat black people like kings and queens. No bullshit. As a matter of fact, that's so prevalent, I've made it a point that if I ever start a business, I'm not marketing to our people. I'm not marketing to our tribe. That's a recipe for loss. Because if I market to you, then what you tell me is I'm trying to feed off of you. I'm trying to eat off of you. I'm trying to get big off of you. And you start to hate, to envy, to be like, hey, this nigga think he gonna feast off of us? He gonna get rich off of us, and then what? Right? But then on top of it, you expect to feed off of me. You expect for me to go into hot, to lose big chunks of my inventory, to cut you the homie hookup on my services, on my skills and abilities. You'll go and pay some white hair designer, hair artist, thousands of dollars just to sit in a chair because they got a name. You won't pay me thousands of dollars to sit in my chair. Why? But then again, neither one of you are wrong. Neither the business owner is wrong, neither the black consumer is wrong. The fact is that it's the mirror. It's the mirror image. We have been forced to take our anger, our outrage, our upset out on each other. Thank you, Brother Morpheus. I appreciate you, fam. We have been forced to turn our anger inward. You know what happens when you do that as an individual? You become depressed. And ultimately, if untreated, meaning that you haven't had those incorrect thoughts, that orientation changed to point your anger where it's supposed to go, you will ultimately kill yourself. So what happens to us as a people when that becomes prevalent, when that is prevalent, is we literally reap each other like corn, like wheat, like a crop. We will use each other for what we can get from each other. And then when the chaff is left, after you have nothing left but a black skin husk, you either reap them yourself or her, or you allow society to reap them. We don't raise our children. We plant them, sprinkle on just enough fertilizer to get them up a nice size. Then when they get gunned down in the street, we contract Shiza Merritt or Ben Crump and go after a bag. Black men in this country get reaped every motherfucking day. Every single day. It's almost as if we're a natural resource, and a renewable one at that. We teach our children not to fight for they do, but to be glad to be a sacrifice. Do me a favor, fam. Pop one in the chat if you ever heard either from your family members, right, your mother, your father, and be honest, or if you heard it said to one of your sibs, one of your cousins, or whatever the case may be, something along the lines of this. I put food on the table. I put clothes on your ass. I put a roof over your head. That's all I'm obligated to do for you by law. Pop a one in the chat if you've heard anything, any variation on that at all. The hell you talking to me for? I put food in your mouth. I put them clothes on your ass. I put this roof over your head. You gonna do whatever the fuck I tell you. I don't give a fuck about your opinion. I don't give a damn what you think. I don't care what you like. I don't give a fuck what you want. I own you. Like a scythe. Grooming that crop for the reaping. Yep. Practically from the cradle, our tribe is raised to be a sacrifice. To give up their life for somebody else. Now here's the kick. Here's the kick. Because it would be different if we were being raised to be a sacrifice, if necessary. Right? Because sometimes sacrifice is warranted. Sometimes it is necessary for you to go above and beyond. Sometimes the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Sometimes. But not all the time. Fam, your individual black life is singularly the most valuable fucking thing you will ever have, second to none. Fam, I can't stress it enough. Every drop of blood in your veins, every bit of lymph in your lymph nodes, every breath of air in your lungs is as valuable as platinum, as palladium, as gold. Fam, in order for a sacrifice of you to be justified, the gain that we should be getting should be so great that just one of us is enough. That's the difference between sacrifice and reaping. A sacrifice only needs to happen once. We marching through the jungle, and here come the enemy, and they toss a hand grenade. I jump on top of that motherfucker. Boom! And I'm got. But guess what? I just saved the lives of my whole motherfucking platoon. And I only had to do it once. Now they're able to fight and get their asses home. That's a sacrifice. Instead of this continual snatching a little bit away every chance you get until there's nothing left but a husk of a human being. But a person who cannot even conceive of the idea of having anything resembling self-worth, except unless someone else tells them they're worth something. Why do you think we have so many coons? Oh, don't get me wrong. Coons are mercenary. We know that. I mean, it don't come with a retirement plan, so to speak, but there's some temporal benefits to bootlicking. But that's not solely the reason why we have coons. We're the only people in this country that let coons just walk among us, right? Like, you remember that guy, what's his name, Uribe or whatever his name is, that was the CEO of the Goya Food Corporation, who went in there in the White House in that meeting and praised Trump? Every Latinx, Hispanic, anything that could be resembling Spanish, cut his ass the fuck off. They said, we not buying your products. Don't talk to us. You're persona non grata. Go hide in a hole. Go die in a fire. Fuck you. And they made it clear publicly that they wasn't standing with him. They went so hard in the motherfucking paint cutting this motherfucker off that you had Donald Trump and Ivanka Trump standing there taking pictures with cans of Goya beans trying to save this motherfucker's business. But Brother Morpheus will talk about this all the time, how we just let motherfuckers just willy-nilly just say anything, just do anything that is deleterious to us, and there's nobody that holds them to account. And we definitely don't hold them to account collectively. But that's because, actually speaking, we think the coons is telling the truth. Oh, yeah, I fucking said it. I fucking said it. You know, I remember when I was a boy, you know how we play the dozens and shit? Like, we tell your mama jokes and this, that, and the third. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? Roasting, playing the dozens. You did, right? I remember when a motherfucker used to say something to me that was hella true. Like, talking about how poor I was. Or I was a real fat kid, so talked about how fat I was. Oh, man, that shit cut to the bone. Right? But, of course, one of the rules of playing the dozens is you can't let it be known that shit cut you deep. No, if you show any emotions, you're fucked. Right? You lost. You're done. Right? So I can't let on that I actually agree with this motherfucker. That I am broke. That I am poor. That I am fat. That I do have roaches. That I do have rats in my house. Right? I can't let on that he's actually not roasting me because he's telling the truth. I'm beginning to think that that's how we actually react to coons and bootlicks among our people. I actually think that behind all the bluster, behind all this nigga here, man, I'm sick of these coons. I believe that actually we don't do nothing about them because we actually think the coons is telling the truth. But now, why wouldn't that be the case if we were raised to be worth less? to only have value relative to what someone can snatch away from us. Why would anything these coons say not be true? If we were thinking in that vein, right? If we were groomed, raised up to be reaped like a crop, then why wouldn't we think that these coons who tell us that it's all our fault, that we don't pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, that our mamas is hoes, our daddies is lazy, shiftless Negroes, this, that, and the third. Why wouldn't we think that's true? That would make sense. You've raised up generations of children with no value in themselves. Thank you, Brother Morpheus. I appreciate that. And Taj, I'm gonna let your comment read out because that was so motherfucking deep what you just said. I'm gonna let that shit read out. Then I'm gonna touch on it because you absolutely, girl, dropping the jewels today. Fam, when we refuse to acknowledge the truth of our circumstances, the limitations on our opportunities, the extinguishing of our choices, the squelching of our abilities, forces us to cannibalize each other instead of going after the people that put us in that spot.
Such statements are tethered to resentment of childhood sharecropping, limited opportunities, and living during Jim Crow. Many won't admit due to pride.
Facts. Facts. We just can't stand the idea that somebody from our tribe might actually do better than me. Sandra, it's not true for everybody. That's facts. But the truth of the matter is that it's some of the shit that these coons be saying, if we were to analyze it, would seem true enough to most of us. I think that the coons are full of shit. I don't think anything these coonish bastards, these bootlicks, these buck dancers, I don't think anything they say has any validity. But the fact that we continue to allow them to be able to speak this shit with impunity implies either one of two things. Either we think that what they say is of no consequence, which makes no sense because white people actually formulate ideas and all of that based off of the shit that these bootlicks be saying, or we think that the shit they're saying has a grain of truth to it. And again, if we have been raised up as a people to only have value relative to what we can be what can be taken from us, right? Because every black person I know has had a dream, has had something that gives them juice, gives them fire, right? Something that lights them up. Just the idea of thinking about it fills their ass with a fire that makes them want to go up against 10 Grinches and makes them feel like that they're 10 feet tall, bulletproof, and made of titanium. Now, also, almost every black person I know has had at least one person in their life that is close to them, that is breathing the same fucking air, that is right next to them, that have worked overtime to kill that dream. Could have been your grandmother, could have been your uncle, could have been your daddy, could have been your mama. Matter of fact, for a lot of us, it was mama. And that's real talk. Why would you expect otherwise from a people raised to be reaped, to be harvested, not to ever have a life of growth just for growing, just for their own sake, just for their own growth, their own experience? No. We are a people that used to be chattel property, and so we were raised for the harvesting by massa. And now that we are not chattel property, we are the motherfucking property of our entire goddamn families to be raised as crops to be harvested at will. All of the dysfunction in our families, people, come from this idea that some other black person life belonged to me. Now, I'm not talking about that general sense of connection, right? That bond that we share by lineage, by heritage. I'm not talking about that. No, this is much more personal. It's much more insular. It's like the difference between an electrical field and a lightning strike. In a general sense, I'm your brother, and my life, in a very general sense, does belong to you in part. I share your heritage, your lineage. I share the same goals, the same aspirations, the same desires as you. And that is a tie that binds. And I choose it willingly. I pick it up willingly. I accept that responsibility willingly. But where I have to draw the line is when you're asking me to basically throw my goddamn life away so that you can get a gain. I can't do it. Why? Because my life has value, regardless of what value you place upon it. I am living and growing just because I am here to live and grow. I am not a crop to be reaped. I am not a harvest for you to come through my life with a scythe and take what the hell you want. I am not your property. I am the very word, the very vision of freedom our ancestors craved. A life that was theirs for the living. Not just living to die, but dying to live. Not just raising up children as motherfucking resources to harvest and reap and draw upon with the ever-present fear that, oh my God, they might actually do better than me. But to actually take care of them and husband them and share your resources, and you sacrifice for them for their growth, regardless of what that growth ultimately looks like. Strongflower said, no one kills more dreams than parents. I couldn't agree fucking more. There's so many people out here that have children that don't deserve them. It's not even fucking funny. The shit that we do to black children is absolutely fucking atrocious. It is a crime. It is a crime against humanity. Our parenting style as a people in general. So if the shoe don't fit, don't fucking put it on. But in general, the parenting style of the descendants of the enslaved here in the United States is nothing short of atrocious. At the very least, you owe the life that you brought into this world food, clothing, and shelter. That's the minimum. That's the very least of what you owe. The very least. That's a completely different mindset than talking about that's the most you could ever hope to expect from me is the barest minimum. No. Having food on your plate, clothes on your back, and a shelter on your head, over your head, is the very least of what I owe you, my child. The very least. It is the bare minimum. And everything that I can lay hands on, every person I can influence, every door I can open, every barrier I can knock down, I do it for you. Why? Because your life and your growth is the reason. What would our people be like if children were being raised that way? What would our households look like if the spouses were looking at each other with an eye to see the other one gain? We still shame other black people because one person working and the other one ain't. Instead of supporting that person being the wind beneath their wings. In a society we know ain't gonna hire all of us no matter how many of us want jobs. In a society where we know that even educated black people go without work. And when they do get work, they're underemployed because they're overqualified. We still think that one person is less than the other one because the other person isn't working and the other one is, regardless of gender. My woman works. Y'all know I'm unemployed due to health issues. Right? You think I look at myself as less than? Fuck no. Because if the tables were returned, if they were reversed, I'd be doing the same shit for her, number one. Number two, I contribute in other ways. But we got these fucked up ass ideas. Because the last mirror image that I want to show you is what happens. It's the cumulative effect of us individually being acculturated to live to die rather than dying to live. Being acculturated to be a sacrifice over and over and over until we're left as nothing but a black skin husk. This final mirror image is the end result, the cumulative effect of what happens to us as individuals and within our families. We think we get together with other black people and we building. We're accumulating. We built this thing up. But what we're actually doing, the mirror image, is we're atomizing each other. Blowing each other completely the fuck apart. Black people are the only people I know that talk about unity more than anybody else and practice it the least. I love my people. I love us to death. But you can't get two of us to agree on what the fuck to eat tonight for dinner. One of the most beautiful things about the hashtag ADOS movement is the idea that we all agreed on one motherfucking thing. That lineage matters. We are all different religious groups. We are all different genders. We're all different sexual preferences. We're all different social economic strata. But guess what? All of that got put to the side to uplift the one tie that could bind us all. And that is the tie that we descend from the enslaved, and the enslaved would do justice, and we stand in their shoes, so we demand justice. Fam, you would have thought that this would have been the easiest motherfucking thing in the world. Fam, I am here to assure you that it is not. We come together. Shout out to Dark Child, by the way. Good evening, fam. Queen Jet Black, I see you, sister. We come together. We come together to destroy other black people so often that one of our great scholars, Neely Fuller, said that unless black people are coming together to do something constructive, they should stay away from each other. Now, I don't share the brother's pessimism, that deep, abiding pessimism that black people just simply should not be the fuck around each other. But I understand the goddamn sentiment. If I was planning on taking down, I'll throw a name out there that y'all all might know. If I was going to do a takedown on Michi X, and I said, I'm going to post up a video, and it's going to be a full-on takedown. I got the receipts. I researched everything about this motherfucker. I'm going to destroy Michi X today. That video would have an ungodly number of views. Yes, you do, Sandra. You have one right here, sister. Whether you know it or not, whether you believe it or not. If I was doing a takedown, if I was doing a motherfucking That's You video, right? Where I was busting somebody, where I was completely obliterating their reputation, shaming them motherfuckers to the nth degree, ruining their goddamn character, I could get 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 views on that video. Meanwhile, a video where I tell you, thank you, Sister Monty, I appreciate and love you too. Meanwhile, I can do a video to tell you how to overcome homelessness, which, by the way, is going to be posted here on my channel for my members. I'm going to be setting up memberships for YouTube. Please consider, pick a level that, you can support. I'm going to be putting up content on practical shit. So, Sister Sandra, you said there's no solutions. I love and appreciate you. You said there's no solutions. There will be. There will be. And I'd like for you to be able to take advantage of them. So consider that. But we will get together, fam, in a confab to destroy the shit out of other black people. That's right, ADOS7B1. Tell her she got family. She ain't got to worry about no friends. She got a tribe. She got peoples. We got you.
Don't always agree with Neely, but he drops nuggets.
I don't always agree with the brother either. Some of the shit he be saying, I just be like, man, that brother is like... But guess what? I'm on code. You'll never hear me disrespect Neely Fuller. Because Neely Fuller gives us all kinds of good little tools that we can use. Like VGQ, that one item right there could help black people like you would not motherfucking believe. Fam, let me explain to you what VGQ is for those of you who are not, using code speech or whatever. VGQ is Victims Guaranteed Qualification. And it simply means this. However any other black person chooses to combat white supremacy is all right. Period. Whether it's calling white folks a bunch of buckers and crackers, whether it's picking up the gun, whether it's shooting the email, whether it's walking up and slapping the dog shit out of them, whether it's smiling in their face but robbing them behind their back, Victims Guaranteed Qualification. You as a victim of white supremacy have the right to combat white supremacy by any means you can come up with, and I do not have a right to say shit about what you do or how you do it. That's a jewel. That's a gem. That one thing alone would change how we interact with each other as black folk. That one thing alone. Because you can expand that out to other areas. Right? I don't necessarily care about what you worship or don't worship. Or who you got in your bed or who you don't. Or where you live or where you don't. None of that shit matters to me. Victims Guaranteed Qualification, that's your life. Live it however you see fit. Our whole job together is for us to combat and defeat white supremacy in every area of human activity. If you with that, I'm with you. A gem. A straight up gem. But we will come together to call people like Grandmaster Jay and NFAC agents because you don't trust what they doing. You know what? I don't know shit about Grandmaster Jay. I don't really know much about the NFAC. But what I do know is this. If them niggas will pick up guns and walk right into the heart of places that white people hold sacred, and not only walk right in there, but stand their motherfucking ground, I don't give a fuck what else they do. You can come to me with that agent talk all the goddamn time. I don't give a fuck. Because what are you doing? Not that I'm here to critique you, but you have to ask yourself that question, right? You're thinking you're accumulating, that you're winning, that you're building. But what you're doing when you come together as a community is you atomize. You blow each other the fuck up. I did a video on my old channel called Pain and Suffering Amongst Black People. Now, this was a Pan-African perspective, but it was me talking about us. One of the things that I come to understand when I was doing that video was that situations that would bring other groups of people together blow us apart. Don't believe me? When there's a school shooting, the whole of that community comes together, taking care of the families of the victims, going ham on the legislatures and the politicians and shit, what ain't done nothing to stop it, starting new organizations, motherfuckers out there in the streets. They spending money. They doing the whole nine because of a school shooting. When we have shootings, it is what it is. I'm with you, Morpheus. I'm watching. NFAC is somebody I'm watching. I'm simply observing at this point. So far, what they've done, I like. Personally, anybody that will run up anywhere with some motherfucking guns and scare the shit out of these white folks, I'm with it. I don't care what else they think or what they doing. I like that action. See, fam, we gotta start falling in love with actions. We gotta start falling in love with what people is doing. But niggas is enamored of what people be saying. And that's what creates this mirror reality, this mirror universe that we live in. Everybody's talking and saying one thing, but when you look at reality and you look at their actions, it says something completely the opposite. And at some point, somebody has to tell you the motherfucking truth. And the truth is, fam, is that our foothold here, unless we fight for every goddamn inch, our foothold here ain't guaranteed at all. Just because we've been here don't mean we might continue to be here. That's the truth. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care what job you just got. I don't care what car you drive. None of that shit matters. We can either come together and accumulate together with a mind towards peaceable interaction, towards the setting aside of differences that are immaterial, at least immaterial in the larger scheme, or we will be blown apart. And like sheep that wander away from the herd, we will be food for every pack of wolves out there. And that will be the end of the descendants of the enslaved in the United States of America. Full stop. Everybody's packing it up. Everybody's running in wolf packs. Latinx, wolf packs. Asians, wolf packs. White folks always been running in wolf packs. We the only motherfuckers that get together and be like, I don't want to be a part of no motherfucking pack. Fuck I look like. I roll solo. YOLO. Yeah, you right. You only live once. And you ain't gonna live that goddamn long. I'm gonna open up the phones because I want to hear from y'all. I do. I want to hear from y'all. But before I do, there's one thing that I would like to tell you that I want us to discuss in more detail. Family, we make shitty white people. Let me say it again. We make shitty white people. We are not good at being white people. You know how many black people will sit up here and do video after video after video telling you, well, white people are on top because they do this, and the white people are on top because they do that. And so if we just do this and we just do that, then we be on top like them. No, fam. No. Because there's one little slight error in that logic. We ain't white folks. I don't want to be white. I think that our people have some issues that we need to leave in the trash heap of history. For example, this idea of owning our young rather than partnering, mentoring our young folk. Like John said, we need to teach our young. You cannot do that when you domineer. Right? When you're beating them, when you're calling them names. Nigga, you ain't shit just like your punk ass daddy ain't shit and so on and so. Nope, that can't fly. Anybody who does that needs to have their motherfucking kids taken. I don't give a fuck what you feel about it. The first time you badmouth your kid should be gone. You do more harm with your mouth, with your tongue, with children than you ever do with a belt. Because every word that comes off the lips of parents is the words of God to children. They don't know no other deities. You can talk about Jesus, Allah, Buddha. They don't care. You God to them. When they stomach rumble, it's you that feed them with plates overflowing if you can. When they body cold, it's you that put the blanket on them. When they lay their head down in a safe place at night, it's you that locks the door and shuts the windows and makes sure that they're safe. You the only God a kid know. So when God makes pronouncements to children like, you are mighty, and I'm going to see to it that with every resource I have, I make you even more mighty. Or God says, you piece of shit, I wish I never had you. You lucky I put food in your mouth and a roof over your head and clothes on your stupid ass. Fam, we make shitty white people. Trying to be white, like John said, has been our downfall. White people want to be individuals. We need to be communalists. White people want to have a bunch of little individual families with everybody paying bills in separate households. We need to be motherfucking clicked up like a goddamn den of mice. We not white people. We can't operate like them. It don't work for us. And the more we try to be like them, the more it hurts us. Because in order to be like them, you have to go to where they are. How you gonna live like a wolf and not be in a wolf environment? And guess what you find in an environment that's suitable for wolves? Strangely enough, family, you find wolves. Now here you are, an angry black sheep, trying to pretend to be a motherfucking wolf and wonder how come you got eaten. They tell you need to be ashamed of your heritage and your lineage. You supposed to be ashamed to be descended from enslaved peoples. Man, I'm an angry black sheep. You can't shame me from you can't shame me into diminishing my ancestors. Fuck you. They was angry black sheep. I'm an angry black sheep. And we gonna be angry till we get justice in this motherfucker by hook or by crook. If we gotta steal it from you, fine. If we can negotiate it up out you, fine. If we can legislate it up out you, fine. If we gotta shoot your ass to get it, fine. We don't care. But one thing we ain't is we ain't wolves. So stop trying to be wolves. Stop trying to imitate what everybody else is doing. What everybody else is doing ain't gonna work for us. It's not even working for them. Quiet as it's kept. Fam, white folks in America under white supremacy have killed more black people with narratives than they ever have with bullets. If you take nothing else from this broadcast, today, understand this. More of our people have died at the hands of stories, narratives, than ever have been killed by the bullet, the rope, by the lash. Stories. Don't believe me? There's Negroes who will die today because they believe bullshit conspiracy theories about the coronavirus. They thought it was 5G instead of an actual virus that made their ass sick as dogs and got them hooked up to a ventilator where they draw in their last breath, drowning in their own juices. If white folks want to think like that, let them think that shit. I could give less than a fuck about they bullshit ass conspiracy theories. Matter of fact, truth be told, your black ass don't even need to know what the coronavirus is to know it's killing motherfuckers. Why do you even care where it come from? Why do you care if it came from a lab in China? Or if it was zoonotic, like I believe? Or if you think it was caused by 5G? Why do you even give a fuck? If I'm sitting you down in a chair and this chair has electrodes built into the handles and in the seat, and then I put a metal cap on your motherfucking shaved head, are you gonna sit here and tell me that you're gonna have a conspiracy about who built this motherfucking electric chair I'm about to kill your ass in? Or are you gonna be trying to get up out that motherfucking electric chair? Seriously, real talk, fam. Real talk. Stories, narratives have killed more Negroes than the rope, than the bullet, than the lash. Every day, white supremacy tells us new stories. They tell us that the economy has never been greater. Don't believe me? Just look at the stonks. But your ass sitting at home working on the last bag of beans you got from the motherfucking food bank 2 months ago. Do you even care about what money they gave Wall Street and this, that, and the third? Or is it time for us to try to find a way to get you fed? You give a fuck about these bullshit ass conspiracies about the deep state and this, that, and the third? Or are you ready to actually get some freedom for your motherfucking self? We make shitty white people. We ain't good at it. We are not fucking good at it. And the more we try to be that, the more of us die. Here's an idea. Why don't you try being black folk for a change? Why don't you try just connecting with other Negroes and actually accumulating some shit together? I don't care what it is. Build a goddamn sandbox together that's got y'all name on it. And both of y'all be willing to stand there with guns to protect your motherfucking sandbox. If you do that, you'll actually be doing more than anybody else. I could give less of a fuck about Nick Cannon. I don't give a fuck about Will Smith. I don't care about Jada Pinkett's Magic Coochie. I don't give a fuck about Erykah Badu. I don't give a fuck about none of these bullshit distractions. I don't care about sports. I don't care about anything but my people. I ain't white. I don't have time for that shit. I got justice to be fighting for. I got a people to feed. I got children to see grow and grow into a life worth living, a life that they would die to live. I got children that I need to raise, not to be setting them up as a resource for me to harvest later. I got a people that I need to bring together so that we can accumulate some shit rather than continuing to blow them a fuck apart by nitpicking at they little pet religions and ideas and thoughts. And who gives a fuck about any of that shit? I don't care if you think the earth is flat or if you think it's round. Are you my tribeman? Can you get with me to work and do some shit? Good. Then you can think the world is flat all the fuck you want. I don't care. I don't care about your conspiracy theories. I don't care about the deep state. I don't give a fuck about 9/11. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. That's white people shit. I don't give a fuck about Donald Trump. I didn't put his ass in the office. It ain't my job to get him out. My job is to try to build justice, to give birth to a people who finally, in the history of this motherfucking country, get justice. That's it. (425-296-1980) is the number. Y'all know what it is. Double C, I see you, fam. What's good? What do you think, family? Do you think Mark Black is spot on with this understanding of this strange mirror reality that we seem to be seeing, that is a complete mirror opposite of the reality we actually live in? Or am I just talking out my ass? Am I making this up? Am I crazy, fam? Because it's entirely possible that your brother's cracked. We make shitty white people. Again, you take nothing else from the broadcast today. Take that. Stop. Please stop. I don't want to be white. I don't want you to be white. I don't want you to be Asian or Latino or anybody else. Steal from them whatever you can steal from them. That's fucking fine by me. But be you. Be us. Thank you, DJ Blue, man. I appreciate you. You know how many of us still bear the trauma of an upbringing that should never have fucking happened? Fam, being used up as a resource by everybody and anybody what had our last name or claimed some tie of consanguinity with us.
Yes, bro, you hitting the nail on the head.
People talk about pathologies from the plantation. Fuck. You ain't got to go back that far. Just go back to many of our households. If you lucky enough to have two parents, often one of the motherfuckers is a tyrant. Massa with brown skin. And we wonder why the plantation always seems to be ever present. Hell, you're raising your kids on plantations. I told my mama, hey, mama, we should consider getting a dishwasher. She said, shit, I got 3 of them motherfuckers appointing to me, my brother, and my sister. I love my mama, don't get me wrong, but she was shady as fuck with some of the shit she did when we was coming up. And I'll be honest with you, 90% of the parenting that I've done is simply just turn the mirror and threw that motherfucker at the ground and shattered it. I refuse to look in the motherfucking mirror again. Nope, I want to see what's real. So I raised my kids to ask questions. To question even me, especially me. I raised my children to hold me to account. Not me hold them to account. Them hold me to account. I raised my children to be my disciples. You know, discipline. Because a lot of us think discipline is beating the fuck out of a kid. That ain't discipline. Discipline is order that you willingly submit to in an acceptance of a teacher's authority. Jesus went on that boat. He didn't go up there with a stick and start smacking James and John and Peter and all of them to fuck around. He showed them what he was working with, and he said, now come with me and I'll make you fishers of men. Caller from 301, it's your man Mark Black. What's your name, where you calling from, and what's on your mind?
Yes, Brother Mark, yeah. This is Brother Richard.
Brother Richard, the elder. What's good, fam?
Yes, I'm going to have to start catching you on time. I just want to call and give you some support, my brother, because we're going into the home stretch, and you're really focusing on what needs to be focused on. Like, I got to just, get my timing together so I can catch the beginning of your message and everything.
I appreciate that.
But, but I want to call and give you some support because you're on this unity thing, and when you get on dealing with unity and dealing with us, the realities that we got to deal with and so forth. We got to deal with reality now. We're going as far as the political landscape. You're going into the home stretch. If we ever going to unify, it's got to be now. We got to unify now because this is for the time. 3 months and it's here. We gotta take a unified approach to get what we want because these clowns, I don't want to call them clowns, but these distractions out here, it's so many distractions being thrown at the people now that they really putting energy where it shouldn't be put. It's like you were saying, all putting energy in who's sleeping with who's infidelity, who's making misstatements here and so forth, and it's just nothing but major distractions.
It is. The fact is none of us should even give a shit. Like, okay, about the whole Nick Cannon thing, Brother Elder, I'm certain you're familiar with what statements that Nick Cannon was supposed to have made or whatever the case may be. Here's the thing. Last time I checked, none of my people, I've got people in my tribe that are Hebrew, right? I got Hebrew brothers and sisters that I love dearly, but they ain't small hat Jews. They not Khazars from the Caucasus Mountains and shit over in Central Asia and Europe. So why the fuck do they care what Nick Cannon said about the Jews? Like, why are we feeling some kind of way about that? That don't make no damn sense to me.
Yeah, but you can tell us. You can tell it's a distraction. He's got that turban on it. Nick Cannon is spaced out. He's got a turban. It's as though he's he's on. I don't know what he's on and so forth. You know what he's trying to advocate for, but he's a major distraction, and we shouldn't allow. It's time for us to focus on our claim and everything, because there are some states and cities out here that is keeping the reparation. You know, they might be doing, pseudo reparation, but they are keeping that spirit alive about reparations, even in Asheville, North Carolina, and places like that. Yeah, we have struck the chord. All we got to do now is just unify, like you say.
That's right. We got to push
and so forth. We gotta conjure up the spirits of our ancestors, like Curtis Mayfield used to sing this song. What you were talking about, it reminded me of a song that Curtis Mayfield used to sing. He said everybody praying and everybody saying, but when it comes time to do, everybody laying. In other words, all this talking and stuff. We got to get away from all this talking and everything, because if you look at Master G and so forth, that's action. I don't care if you want to call them agents, or you want to call them this and that. They are presenting the image, that they presenting the front that they out there.
Yeah.
They can be some agents, but they are going into Louisville, trying to get justice down there. They are letting the other militias and so forth, the white militias and all these other organizations and so forth, racist organizations, they letting them know that they willing to meet them with force. So,
absolutely.
So they could have.
Absolutely.
They could have came. Yeah, so we got to get off of that. The agents until we can prove that they're agents and so forth. We got to go with what we. So we got to go bleed like they used to say. Believe nothing what you hear and half of what you see.
Facts.
At least you should believe. You should believe half of it. That if they're half agent, they're doing more than somebody that's not doing anything.
Brother Richard, you just hit it on the barrel here, brother. Look, agent or not, right? You can tell a tree by the fruit it bears, right? If it turns out that NFAC is just another, group of Negroes, spinning their wheels and doing nothing, the truth will come out in the wash. But in the meanwhile, I see them down there, got them 3%ers, the 3%ers, them white militiamen, they down there, black folks down there enforced with guns, right, from the NFAC. Yeah. Meanwhile, the 3%ers, barely 50 of them motherfuckers showed up and they were scared as hell.
Yeah.
Now that's what I'm seeing. This ain't got nothing to do with anybody talking about who, he talked too much and this, that, and the third. You know what? Maybe he do. Maybe Jay, maybe Grandmaster Jay might shut up. But even if he don't, if he putting boots on the ground, putting guns in hands, and putting protection on black people's backs, I say we need more of that type of agent shit.
Yeah, and he's made himself available to anybody, any group, anybody that wants to train it and everything. Cause it's a lot of militia, it's a lot of veterans and stuff that's in that formation and so forth. Yep. So he's made himself available. Even when Michi X had came out, she was sort of speaking against him. He came on her program and they did a whole program and everything for about an hour and a half.
Yep, I saw that. And what I thought was beautiful about that was that the brother could have been on some, oh, fuck that bitch shit, that high yellow bitch, I ain't talking to her. Nope. Yeah. He said, that's okay. My sister just don't understand. Yeah. Let me go and talk to her so we can have this out so we can get us on the same page. And by the time they was done, it was all love. right? So the thing is that unity can happen, right? But there's a commitment that's required. It's a responsibility, right? So we have a responsibility, if we desire unity, to set aside some things that maybe we find valuable, but other people don't necessarily have to find as valuable in order to work with us, right? In other words, fam, I understand that some people are Christian, some people are Muslim, some people are Hebrew, right? I understand that, but you know what? That's your faith. I respect it. You be that, right? But where we come together is based off our lineage, and we do the work that we got to do together.
Yeah, our lineage. That's what unites us. Our lineage and our legacy and our lineage. Forget all that. Forget all that other stuff. We're not bound. We're not bound because of some black, some this color. We're bound by our lineage.
That's it.
We got to get away from all these other titles they trying to throw at us now. These buy whatever and all of this and Black Lives Matter and all of that stuff. We got to get away from that because we see what their agenda is and so forth. We got to get away. We got to pinpoint our lineage and so forth. But I just want to commend you. You right on time and everything, and I want to say to the AOS family out there, to our people that are really, our leaders resonate in the contribution that we made and what is due to us. As Malcolm said in his last message, he said, we live in a society that just is capable of building gas chambers for the black people as Hitler society.
Thank you.
We got to realize that. We got to realize that we can become so expendable that they will look over and say, well, they're not worth it. You work 50 cents and he's worth a quarter and he's in prison and so forth. So we'll come up with a plan. We just start building gas chambers for him, and so forth.
Absolutely.
And like Malcolm said it'll be hot before we even know it, So.
And Malcolm was right. I mean, at the end of the day, our existence here on this landmass, right, where our ancestors' bones is buried, will only be as tenable as we are. Tenable means sustainable. It means possible, plausible, right? Our possibility of being here will be solely dependent upon the efforts we make to remain here. Period.
Right.
That's it.
Right. Yeah. We've got to get our justice claim. We got to have value. We got to have wealth. We got to begin to build institutions and everything. But we can't build the way we're going. We're going out backwards and I just hope it be just a rude awakening for a lot of our people, and so forth. But keep on doing
brother, I'm gonna keep on doing it. I'm gonna keep on doing it. I appreciate you. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. I'm gonna keep on just trying to be a voice out here, and hopefully our people pay heed. Humbly, I can't do any more than what I'm going to do. So I'm going to keep talking. I'm going to keep telling. I'm going to keep truth telling no matter how it hurts. Because you know what? One lesson I learned from playing the dozens as a kid is that if the truth hurts you, it's because you ain't accepted it yet. That's all. Once you accept the truth, it can't hurt you no more. Once I said, you know what? I am a fat kid. Yeah, I am poor. So what? That shit stopped bothering me, Brother Richard. Them cats could say that shit all day, and it wouldn't matter none. Because I knew it was true, and it didn't bother me none, right? So if anything that somebody's saying is true, and you don't like it, then change it. You see what I'm saying?
Reality. You got to deal with reality. Reality is reality. We have, I hear a lot of these celebrities and these people who have, some monies and so forth. They talk about talk about what's happening to the black community, we got to look at things realistically.
Yep.
A lot of those celebrities and those that do have money, they not really in abundance in the community that we live in. It's separate communities.
Yeah.
We got to realize that we got different. It's not no one black community. It's not no one ADOS community. We got various communities and so forth, and those that got houses and stuff close to Beverly Hills and so forth. Their interest is really,
and their
really
interest is
for,
whatever white people interest is. Let's just tell the truth and shame the devil. Their interest is whatever white people interest is. Our interest is our people, because that's the only thing we got, right? See, Brother Richard, the thing is that there are different slogans and statements that we have as a people that if we really truly understood the truth of those statements and slogans and we lived by them, shit would change overnight. For example, the slogan that we all we got is more true than any of us ever suspected. We may lack wealth. We may lack resources, but what we do not lack is each other. We have each other. I have my elder brother Richard, and he has his younger brother Mark Black, right? Meaning that if we too can come together, then we become greater than the sum of our parts. So maybe we can get our hands on some of that wealth, some of those resources that we lack, right? You see what I'm saying? But we have to cultivate, since I'm here saying in the chat, we have to cultivate a love and respect amongst our people. Why do you think I always greet y'all with the warmest of greetings? I say esteemed brother, beloved sister, because that's what you are to me. I respect and esteem and love you, and that has to be demonstrated not just in my verbiage, but in my action.
Right.
That's the thing. That's the thing that needs to be cultivated. We can damn all the rest of it. I don't care how Brother Richard dressed. I don't care if you listen to the OJs and I listen to the Temptations. Like, none of that shit matters. The fact is do I love my brother and does he love me? Can I have respect for my brother and can he have respect for me? When it comes time for us to make this push, can I stick out my elbow and know that my brother Richard's got his arm linked in mine and we marching in lockstep towards this justice? Yeah. That's all that matters.
When this virus subside, when it's convenient and you come this way, and you need a place to lay your head, just give me, I'm
gonna hold you to that, fam. And the same offer stands for you. You ever find yourself out my way, my place is your place. Simple as that.
Like you my brother, as one last thing that Malcolm said about brotherhood and being brothers and and so forth, being of one people. He said that your brother wants for you the same thing that he wants for himself. And those who are more privileged or got more money and stuff like that, they don't want to really be around us. They have we just gotta push them aside. Don't give them no relevance. The stuff they talking about, don't give them no energy and so forth. Just let them be.
That's right.
Them be and Okay, my brother.
Hey, I love you, brother. Thank you so much as always, man. I appreciate you. Stay strong, stay up, and I look forward to hearing from you again, brother.
Okay, my brother. Peace.
Peace. Great words from the elder brother. Zulu Black said, and be committed to real change. Thank you. See, change is interesting because we are committed to change verbally, right? We quick to change up the rhetoric, right? When black folk was trying to be Africans, everything was Ashe and Hotep and this, that, and the third, and peace, my black, beautiful Nubian queen. We'll change up our rhetoric quick than a motherfucker till you ask somebody to change what they doing. right? We'll say peace, but we don't want justice for each other. And you cannot have peace without justice. And justice, like everything else, starts in the home too, right? How you gonna be out here screaming for justice for your people when you're being a tyrant in your family, in your household, right? How you gonna be out here talking about you for justice for us, but you're not even justice for the people that you contributed your motherfucking DNA to, right? Your kids receive the height of injustice, but you out here claiming you justice for me? No, what that means is that the moment you have the ability to have power over me, you're going to be just as unjust to me as you are to your motherfucking seed, to your woman, or to your man. Everybody got the rhetoric down until it come time to the doing. How many folk were talking about, man, we need to be out here killing these crackers, and this, that, and the third. And then Cosmo showed up in Baton Rouge and they got quiet as church mice pissing on cotton. How many? Man, we need to deal with these motherfucking police. Then Micah showed up in Dallas, and all of a sudden from them niggas you heard. You heard crickets. Because everybody talk. We good about the rhetoric. Until it's time for you to put some ass up. Till it's time for you to put some money up. Till it's time for you to put your motherfucking life up on the line. Till it's time for you to put your finger on the trigger or your hand on the pen or your fingers on the keyboard. Until it's time for your ass to do something. Now all of a sudden we got 50,000 different excuses or we get crickets. That shit gotta stop. Brother Richard said a word that I want to talk about before I end the broadcast today, because I'll take another call. So if one comes in, I will take it. But I'm gonna be starting to wrap it up so y'all can go ahead and enjoy your Saturday. But Brother Richard quoted Malcolm X, who said that a brother is somebody who wants for you what he wants for himself. That's actually a quote from a hadith from the Prophet Muhammad, who said that your brother, you are the brother of one where you want more, just as much for your brother as you want for yourself, right? Jesus says something similar, right? The golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, right? And so on and so forth. The thing is that ties in directly into us having discernment. A lot of us sit here and we stress about unity. We say we can't get unity. But that's because you keep trying to unify with motherfuckers that you ain't supposed to be trying to unify with. Shout out to my beloved, esteemed brother Grinch, the Grinch God. What's good, fam? Your discernment should tell you one important thing. Anybody that you're looking to unify with has to want for themselves what you want for them. Fam, I'm telling you, the more you pay attention, the easier this shit becomes. You're sitting here stressed out about unity. Why won't we unify? Why won't we unify? Why don't we come together? You don't need to come together with everybody. What you need to do is to find the people that want for themselves what you want for them. I guarantee you won't have to stress about unity if you do that. You won't have to worry about who do I unify with? How do I link up with somebody? How do I get with my people? Your people are the ones that want for themselves what you want for them. You want justice for them. If they want that for themselves, they will find you. You want peace for them. If they want peace for themselves, they will find you. Our sister Sandra was in here earlier talking about she ain't got no friends. She came to this place because she wants peace. She came to the Angry Black Sheep herd because she wants a connection. She found us. We didn't have to go chase the sister down. She found us. Caller from 404, it's your man Mark Black. What's your name, where you calling from, and what's on your mind?
Hey, what's going on, brother? This is Brother Morpheus.
What up, Morpheus? Hey, man, it's good to hear from you, brother. I know you about to drop some gems. Please, let's have it.
Yeah, brother. Well, first of all, how you doing, man?
Morpheus, man, I'm telling you, if I got any better, I'd probably be in jail because it'd be criminal. I'm doing all right, fam.
Well, go ahead.
No, I'm just telling you, I'm doing all right, fam. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I'm actually about to do some Uber. I have a regular job, but I'm actually I do Uber on the side. So
Ain't nothing wrong with it, fam. I know you be out there on your grind, fam.
Yeah, I do for real. But no, man. You know, the reason why I was calling, I wanted to give my take, and I'm probably gonna make a video stating some of this stuff, but my take on the Grandmaster Jay situation is that I agree that at least he's doing something. I completely agree with that, and I like it. And we do need to have shows of forces, and nobody else is doing it. Even some of the people who are criticizing him, they ain't doing it. So
Facts.
I get that perspective, but on the other perspective, especially listening to some of the people who was calling him agent and their reasons, they're some of the same reasons that I call people suspected agents. When you say some suspect stuff, some off-code stuff, I've been in this game for a long time.
Yep.
I'm talking about going back years. You know, I used to live in South Carolina. When that Dylan Roof stuff happened, I was on the front line. So I've been there. I've been on the state capitol, standing on the state capitol of South Carolina with the new Black Panthers, all of that. So I've been in this game for a long time. And even with the new Black Panthers, we were doing something, but the leaders kept doing things that were very suspicious. And then I found out a lot of scandalous stuff was going on behind the scenes. So all I'm saying is that the same reasons why I will call Joyce Watkins an agent, is some of the same reasons why Grandmaster Jay is being an agent. So I'm real neutral right now, meaning that I'm not going to attack and say, oh, you can't call him an agent, because I do the same thing.
Right.
But I do it for good reason, because I have passion for my people, and I understand that this is part of the reason why we're in the same situation, because we let too many people say and do whatever they want to do. This is why people who have no business being in prominent positions in our community are in prominent positions, because too many of us try to take a passive as to, oh, well, he's trying to do the right thing. No, he's not. White supremacy has propped up, has learned and mastered the art of tokenizing and weaponizing our own people against us.
Yep.
We can go back to every single slave revolt. It was always a black person thwarting the revolt. So I know we like to have this, oh, we need to be peaceful with our brothers and our sisters. And trust me, I would love us to have that society. But when you are not peaceful with me, when you are not peaceful with our collective because you're selfish and you have alternative motives and you are working against us, or you're just not the brightest apple in the bunch. Again, white people, I know you gave the example of how we shouldn't try to be like white people. And yes, I agree in a lot of ways. We should not try to be like white people, but in some ways we should learn from them, because there's a reason why they're in charge. And they don't, even though they have idiots in their community, they don't allow these people to have, well, first of all, they're not in a position we're in, so they can kind of allow people to be silly. But for the most part, they don't allow people who are not that bright to be in the position that they're in. And it just seems like, because we have this, to me, overly peaceful vibe, where white people are not afraid to be hostile, especially towards us. They're not afraid to be hostile, but even towards each other, they're not afraid to be hostile.
Right.
They are able to regulate their idiots and their people who aren't doing the right thing a little bit better than us. So on one hand, I understand, and especially when the evidence was provided of why people feel that Grandmaster Jay is an agent, I understood. But on the same token, I cannot totally dismiss the fact that when people are saying at least he's doing something. So that's why I feel like I'm neutral, because I don't feel like we should be scared to call people out just because it might seem like they're on our side, because we got a whole bunch of people who seem like they're on our side, and that's why we're in the condition we're in today.
But you know what though, Brother Morpheus, if you notice, fam, if you notice, I said, yeah, he's doing something that I like, but I am paying attention to his actions, right? Here's the problem, not with what you're saying, because you're spot on, 100 motherfucking percent. Here's the problem with us. The way we get trapped is via rhetoric, right? Let me explain. Okay, Grandmaster Jay says some off-brand shit. All right, and when I say off-brand, I mean off-brand, right? Like he said some shit about policing our own neighborhoods and shit. Morpheus, I don't want no motherfucking police. Like, I don't want black police. I don't want white police. I don't fuck the police. When I say fuck 12, I mean fuck 12. I don't give a damn about anybody's police, all right? Right? So to me, he says some shit that automatically makes me like, I'm cool, right? But notice this. I take what he does and I give that the place of primacy over what he says. Now, here's the thing. Should his actions start to match some of the bullshit ass rhetoric that sometimes you hear from Grandmaster Jay? Because I've followed NFAC for a minute, right? Okay, I'm not saying I'm an expert on them, but I kind of got the gist of what they doing, how they operate, and so on and so forth, right? If at any point their actions start to switch up, that's when I come in with the motherfucking sledgehammer, and I won't have no hesitation about it, fam, and nor should you, because you're right. At the same token, peace at any cost is tyranny, right? Because you can be peaceful with a motherfucker who's bound for war and put yourself in a trick bag. Morpheus, you a student of history, so you'll understand the reference I'm about to drop. You remember back in the 1930s hearing about the Prime Minister Chamberlain in Britain trying to appease Adolf Hitler and ultimately allowed Adolf Hitler to come to power enough to be able to bomb Britain basically back into the motherfucking Stone Age, because Chamberlain didn't understand that there was no appeasing Adolf Hitler. There was nothing you were ever going to say that was going to deviate Adolf Hitler from his motherfucking stance, from his position. The only thing you could do was kick his ass, right? Period. There was no appeasing him. You see what I'm saying? We get so caught up in trying to give peace at any cost that we end up with the complete opposite of peace. That's why I always tell our people, Morpheus, and you've heard me say this before, if you truly desire peace, prepare for war. Prepare to kick some ass. If you really want peace, you got to be ready to go to the gun, because sometimes that is the price of peace. You can't appease everybody. So I'm with you 100 motherfucking percent. The rhetoric sometimes is off-brand, and then you start seeing the actions change up to match that off-brand ass rhetoric. That's why I'm saying I'm watching and being observant, and I encourage all of us to watch and be observant, but to also recognize that, hey, it feels good in the motherfucker to watch black people march on Stone Mountain with guns.
True. And I agree. And I loved it when I first saw it.
Me too. Shit, I was like,
what I'm saying. I'm real neutral. I don't want to take the stance that, I'm against these guys and get them out of here, because I love the sight of what they're doing. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I understand the vigilance. I do see some hypocrisy in the vigilance, because when there's certain people who people are cool with, they want to give these people passes. But all of a sudden, when you don't have a personal relationship with somebody, you have no problem putting them on Front Street.
But see, that goes back to that dynamic that I was talking about earlier, Morpheus, about the mirror image of accumulation versus atomization. When we come together, 90% of the time, it's never to the good of anybody. Like, this is not to say that we are incapable of doing good. No, we are. But the problem is that the way we're acculturated as property, we are still acculturated as property in our own homes. So that same acculturation is what we're going to take out into the world with us, meaning that you don't see black people. What you see is black objects, black tools, black resources to be utilized, used up if need be, and discarded if you can. That's a different interaction. That's a different social dynamic than when you see black human beings, when you see black people. And my thing is that we talk in the language of black people, but our actions, the mirror, reflects our obsession with objectifying and turning black people into tools, to resources to be used. You feel me?
Yeah, I feel you. And that's just my overall take on the situation. Like you said, and like I said, I'm waiting to see if he does, if the actions really start to go with some of the suspect words. I understand, and you were right. I do understand. On the other hand, people being like, "Whoa, let's hold off because this brother is doing something good, even if he has said things in the past that are questionable." Because even some of the people, this is the irony. Obviously, we're talking about one of the main people that has been calling Grandmaster Jan agent is Tariq Nasheed.
Yep.
Tariq Nasheed, I defended him because when people like Yvette Carnell and the ADOS movement were trying to bring up his past and previous things that he says that are controversial, that are questionable, that I do not agree with.
Yep.
I defended still because I said, hey, people change. Because I said, hey, we can look at Yvette Carnell's past. And we can look at the fact that she was attacking reparations. This is a fact. This is not disputed. We have articles that we can find on Internet Archive because she did go and delete them. We have screenshots of Facebook posts where this woman, Yvette Carnell, missed reparations in 2020, was attacking the idea of reparations because she was a Bernie Sanders supporter in 2016. So I'm like, and people obviously are going to dismiss that and say, hey, well, she learned, she changed, she grew, she got more information. So same thing with Tariq Nasheed. He could have changed. He could have gotten more information. He may not feel that way anymore. It's not fair to hold people to every single statement they've ever said in their life.
I agree with you.
I used to vote for Barack Obama. There were times where I had a crush on a white girl when I was a teenager. So there's times where we all have to grow.
Facts.
But at the same time, on the same token, we cannot then turn around and say that other people have not grown if we want people to give us the opportunity to grow. So I say all that to say, just like I defended Tariq Nasheed because I say, hey, if we want to hold people's past against them, we got plenty to hold against Yvette Carnell.
Boy, trust me.
Hey, this is the things this brother said in the past. So maybe,
Morpheus, why do you think I'm so forward and honest about my past, fam? Because trust me, you could look at my past, you could look into my present, and you'll probably find some shit, be like, this nigga here, right? I'm not perfect, fam. I'm not perfect. I'm not here to try to be the leader of the revolution. I just want to be a foot soldier right along with y'all. You feel me? Because I know I'm not fit to lead. I know I'm not fit to be the face of what ultimately will constitute our final push for justice. That's not your man's spot. I know my lane. I know what skeletons I got in my closet, you dig? That's not your boy. Right? I'm going to leave that to people who are much better and more suited than me. And I'm going to back they motherfucking play. You feel me? But see, Morpheus, that requires a degree of humility that if you notice, with the exception of very few, you don't commonly find amongst, I would say, the new black media. Right? There's a lot of new black media that puts out a lot of great information across various subjects. Right? But you'll find that they tend to hold themselves out as the sole resource or the sole arbiter of what constitutes, actual real black media. And there's a lack of humility. So when this you moment shows up, right, and somebody presents some old school receipts, because they have been so, what's the old saying, Morpheus? Pride goeth before a fall, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know my skeletons, fam. So if somebody comes out and says, Mark Black did this, Mark Black did that, the only thing I can do is either go, no, I didn't, or yeah, that was me, but that ain't me no more. And keep it pushing. You feel me? Like, you see what I'm saying? That's why, so I'm right there with you, Morpheus. My eye is on NFAC. I take, and like I said, for me, it's simply visceral. It's emotional. I like seeing brothers and sisters with guns marching on white people's shit. You can be mad at me all the fuck you want about that. That shit makes my heart sing. It warms the cockles of my heart. Right? These old weary bones feeling a whole hell of a lot better when I see that shit. Right? Now, has Jay said some suspect shit? Yep. Will he say some suspect shit? He said some suspect shit to me in that interview with that motherfucker, with Michi, with Sister Michi, right? Mm-hmm. Even still, I'm watching what they do. I couldn't care less at this particular point about what they're saying. That's where I'm at. I'm like you. I'm remaining neutral. Keep doing what you're doing, and you can say whatever the fuck you like.
Well, again, I don't know if I fully agree with that.
I know that. Because Morpheus, I know you're going to get yours in, right? So if the rhetoric is not on point, you going to let it be known. So that's your forte. That is your bailiwick, and I respect it. That's why I watch your shit, because you'll say what I won't say. And that's all right. Somebody's got to do it. And I appreciate you for doing it. You feel me? So I know you don't agree 100% with my stance, because I can fully expect that if he keeps being egregious with some of the shit that he's been saying, we're going to see a Morpheus speaks on it. We're going to see you speak on it. And I'm going to support that 100% like I always do.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. And like I was saying with the thing with Charles there after Dylan Roof, I was out there with them cats. I was there on the steps. I was in the mix. But what the brothers started to do is we got on the Capitol, and the leader of the chairman, he's no longer the chairman now. He stepped down. But the chairman at the time, Malik Zulu Shabazz, he got up there and he started preaching to black people about what about black on black crime. And I'm like,
the fuck?
You this big pro-black person, we don't need you to say this. We can go watch Sean Hannity for black on black crime rhetoric. And the thing is that I don't think black people understand the importance of words. I think people,
you're right,
because
Morpheus,
we like to dismiss and minimize talking, because again, a lot of times talk is cheap. But I think we take that as talk is cheap all the time, 100% of the time. And as I said, I don't fully agree with everything Neely Fuller says. There's a lot of things I would debate him about if we ever had a chance to sit down. And not in a disrespectful way, because I have a lot of respect for him.
Oh,
but
yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot of things that I would say, I don't really agree with this. I think a lot of what you said is profound, but this thing and this thing I don't agree with. I know how he would respond. He would have VGQ and let it go. He wouldn't argue with me anyway. But one thing I really do love or agree with what his philosophies is, he has stressed the importance of words. He has stressed the importance of black people using the correct word, and he understands how white people use words in order to maintain white supremacy. Because if words didn't maintain white supremacy, whenever a black person got killed by cops, white people wouldn't be saying nothing. They wouldn't be arguing with you. They wouldn't be talking.
Boom.
They would be quiet, because hey, it is what you gonna do about it. If talk is so cheap, why are they so invested in talking to you and trying to convince you of a certain narrative?
Morpheus.
So that's why I say Morpheus. I'm really big on the rhetoric to it. But at the same time, I get what you're saying.
Nope, because you and I are on the same. You and I are on the same page, fam. The only reason why I don't touch on it is because I know you will. The thing is this. I just said during this broadcast that stories, narratives, words have killed more black people from white folks than any other weapon they've had. It is stories. It is stories, narratives that have us killing ourselves. They tell a narrative of a worthless people who, when given freedom, couldn't do nothing with it. And so the only thing left for them is just to go the way of the dinosaur. And how many black people have that reinforced in their households, and then reinforced in their communities, and then ultimately reinforced in the prison house, the nut house, or when they wheeling their body into the motherfucking grave? Stories kill black people. Words have power. They have meaning. I'm right there with you, Morpheus. You already know, fam.
Yeah, brother. I appreciate the time, man. I'm about to peace out, but it was good talking to you. Like I said, I will be making a video touching on some of this stuff, but as always, keep doing you. I hope your health gets better. I know it's not the best, and it's not gonna get better overnight, but I hope you get better.
Oh man, I appreciate the hell out that. Thank you, fam. And like I said, I'm gonna support your work 100%. It don't matter. You say some shit sometimes I don't agree with. I say stuff you say, but guess what? Every time a Morpheus video come up, the first thing I do before I even watch it is hit that thumbs and start sharing that motherfucker. You feel me? Because I support you. So I love you, brother. Thank you so much for the contribution to the broadcast tonight, man. You stay easy.
All right, you too, brother. Appreciate you as well. Have
yes, sir. Peace. Yeah, great call. Brother Morpheus is always going to bring it. By the way, shout out to my esteemed brother Travis, also known as Black Dollars University. I see you, fam. Welcome to the broadcast. He's popping up some information that y'all might want to check out. But, fam, I'm going to go ahead and start to wrap it up. I will say this. I can't speak for you, but I'm tired of living in the mirror universe, right? I'm tired of living in bizarro world where the rhetoric says one thing, but reality says something else. I want our rhetoric to match our reality. More importantly, I want our understanding to match our reality, because then nobody has to tell you to be an advocate for your tribe. You will jump over people. You will fight to be a fisher of black people, black men, black women. You feel me? So, fam, with that said, thank you all for who showed up and watched this live. I appreciate you as always. Like I said, be on the lookout for that announcement about the memberships for the channel. Trust me, any little support will be helpful, but please consider it. If you like my work, if you think you find it valuable, you find it salient, a few bucks a month definitely would be helpful. So, fam, as always, I want to wish you all love, peace, prosperity, and power. Real power to our people.